We are going to talk on the initial access malwares, how we can detect those, what are the impacts, and how are we can detect this. My name is Hiren Sadhwani, and let's start this. I'll start with the quick introduction of myself. I'm currently working as a cyber threat hunter at Inspira Enterprise, which is an MSSP. We have a wide range of customers from healthcare sector, manufacturing, FMCG, fintech, and whatnot. Previously, I worked with Ford Scout and PwC as well. I do sometimes write blogs on Medium, been previously speaker at Science Blue Team Summit and in 2023. So before going to the agenda and discussing the initial access malware, I want to start with uh, a story, basically a scenario, recent example maybe. So where think about a user from a mid-sized manufacturing company is busy while browsing on the internet. He somehow visited a compromised website which says your Chrome is outdated. You need to update it. Click here to update. User thinking it's a legit site and my browser is outdated. He clicks the link. He downloads the update.exe. Basically, that update.exe is a Lumma Stealer malware. Now, once execution of that exe file, uh, it leads to browser saved credentials leaked. That browser saved has VPN credentials, email credentials, RDP, session cookies, crypto wallets, or whatnot. So all this data was still sent to the back to the Luma actors. Now, now that Luma actors did stole the credentials and sell it on the dark web. Now, this after a few days, the Akira ransomware guys, basically Akira is a major ransomware group. They purchased the credentials from the threat actor, tried those credentials. They got valid credentials for the VPN. Once they log in to the VPN, they got access to the network of the manufacturing company. They did the post exploitation activities, moved laterally to the environment, dump the credentials using Mimikatz and other tools, disable the EDRs and whatnot. They stolen they exfiltrate the data, stolen the files, and at the end they deployed the ransomware. So this whole scenario could be avoided if the user did not have clicked on the malicious file or maybe not downloaded the file. So many ways we could have avoided in the ransomware infection, from clicking on the malicious file to installing of the file, or maybe at the later part we can detect when the credentials were dumped or disabled the EDR. So many ways we could have detected, but most of the organizations are not able to detect or not able to block these things. To discuss how we can detect such things. Our agenda would be what initial access malware is, why does it matter, what are the initial access vectors and types, the role of initial access brokers. Then we'll a little bit discuss on the threat hunting, and we going to discuss on the three different malwares, how we can detect those. We'll discuss on that. We'll start with the what initial access malware is. Basically, malicious software which gives an entry point uh, for for threat actors to do further attacks, right? So, in the example that we've seen, it was an entry. The fake browser update was an entry point for the ransomware actors to do further activities and deploy the ransomware. So initial access malwares are, as the name itself says, there is an initial access. It gives the first entry point for the threat actors. Now, why does it matter? It matters because it's the first step for a major ransomware attack, or basically any kind of cyber attack. It's the first entry point, and in most of the cases, like this report is from the recent eCenter report, which says the trends of 2024. Uh, Nearly 50% is more than related to the malwares from browser, email, removable media. All those contains more than 40-50% of the attacks based on the malwares. While the 48% from the valid credentials, but these valid credentials are also linked to the initial access malwares, because this malwares gains the credentials and then sell it to the dark web. Let's discuss on the common initial access vectors. On the left side, you're seeing that these are the traditional methods, but still relevant and today as well. Right from the phishing is the most common tactic. From then the drive-by downloads, malvertising, exposed RDP, exploiting the public-facing applications. These are the traditional methods, while there are few emerging methods as well, which we are seeing in the wild recently. One of them is ClickFix. It's also known as fake captcha bypass or paste and run as well. We will going to discuss in detail in the further slides. Then we have the email bombing and MS Teams impersonation. So user will be bombed with hundreds and thousands of emails. Then someone from then the threat actor will call to directly to the user, impersonating as a help desk guy. I think this was also discussed today in one of the talk. That leads to the Blackbuster ransomware as well. Supply chain attacks, right in the 2020s, starting with the SolarWinds, and we have seen so many supply chain attacks. Then we have QR code phishing, when the user gets an email which has a QR code. So once user scan that QR code, it leads to the phishing page. Other technique is ACO poisoning. When the user will be somehow visited the compromised websites, which on the top of the searches. This technique mostly used by the bootloader malware, and now we are also seeing with the Bumblebee and other malwares as well. So there are multiple types of initial access malware. It could be the information stealer malwares like Lumastealer, RedLine, and all. So this information stealer malwares, they just steal the credentials, like your browser saved credentials, cookies, session tokens to bypass your MFA services, and they steal the credentials, they sell it to other actors or on the dark web. The example that we have seen in the earlier example, that fake browser updates. And there's another type called droppers and downloaders, which so user will download the file thinking it is a legitimate. It could be PDF or Word document. Once it is downloaded, it will execute the malicious code in the background that will download under the additional payloads. It could be exploits of proxy logon or log4shell. So this download will just work for to download additional payload on the infected host. Then we have remote access tools or Trojans like AscentRat. Then like legitimate remote access tools as well, like Simple Help, Screen Connect, ConnectWise, AnyDesk, or whatnot. That could also be used as an initial access tactic. Let's discuss on the initial access brokers. Initial access brokers are those kind of threat actors who compromise the environment, steals the credentials of let's say VPN or RDP credentials. They got the, let's say, remote code execution vulnerability, and they compromise the environment, but they don't do the further activities. They just compromise and then sell that access to the other ransomware actors. So these are the kind of threat actors who just sell the pre-compromised access to the threat actors. Now, what's the role of this? Why we are discussing this? Because uh, today most of the ransomware operators they do not do the initial access. They just outsource the initial access. They take the service from the initial access brokers like Scattered Spider, Storm 0324, is the name given by the Microsoft. Those kind of initial access brokers, they breach the network, they get the access, and they sell it to the other actors. Some of the initial access brokers also scan the network and find out how much hosts are in the network and what's the worth of the access, and then sell it according to the price. This scattered spiders we are seeing recently so many cases. This also linked to the Dragon Force ransomware that we have seen recently in the Marks and Spencer case. Now, in the term of the ransomware groups, they just solely focus on the encryption part, post exploitation activities, extortion, and negotiation part. The initial access could be outsourced by the initial access brokers. Some of the examples that have used IABs are Akira, Ransom Hub, Black Cat. Yeah, these are the examples how they sell it on the dark web. So you can see that it's a domain user selling the Citrix RDP, which is 810 hosts. The $1,200 is the price. Another bank in the Portugal selling access, the RC exploit with $1,300. Now, these initial access methods mainly based on the browsers like malvertising, SEO poisoning, fake browser updates, like from downloading to phishing, all are mainly related to the browser-based attacks, which are a part of 70% of the ransomware cases or malware cases. This data is from the recent report from Tire, which says the 70% of malware cases reached through the browser-based initial access methods. Uh, right from 2022 to 2024, the infection of the information stealer and rats have increased so many. Now let's discuss on the ClickFix technique that we discussed earlier. So ClickFix technique right now it's currently in the wild. Maybe it's not a new technique. We have seen such cases in I think 2020 to 2023, but in 2025, we are seeing so many cases today, which have lead to the ransomware cases as well. This technique, what it says is when a user somehow visits to the compromised website or malicious website, it asks user to copy the code from the browser itself, paste that code into the run command in the run tab, and then paste and execute that code. Mostly it's a PowerShell code. So if user and as Ryan said in the last panel discussion, so many users are falling for it and it's in the wild. Let's see some of the examples. This is one of the example where it says open the Windows plus R button, paste the command, and then hit enter. Here you can see this is the malicious payload. These are the trending malware families from Hiren. This is from the last 365 days. We can see the Lumma Stealer is one of the top trending malware. The next one is XWorm and Async Rate. These all are the initial access malwares. Let's discuss on the threatening because we are gathered here to detect this, to hunt this malware. So threat hunting is basically a proactive approach to detect the undetected threats, unusual activities in the network. And the threat hunting, we are not relying on the security tools to alert us on the suspicious activities, whether we are focusing on the hypothesis. Hypothesis basically is scenario where we are assuming that certain malware attack or certain suspicious activity has already happened. So will detect and will try to detect based on our hunt queries. Now, why we require threat hunting? Because it can lead to the early detection of threats. Like in the example that we have seen earlier of Lumastealer, if the threat hunting was enabled on that organization, so many things could have been detected. It can continues improve your overall security posture of the organization. It reduces the dwell time. Now, the dwell time is basically a time when the attack has occurred and when it is detected. Like the user was compromised, downloaded the Lumma Stealer malware, executed, and it was detected when the ransomware attack happened and the forensics done. And that time it was found that it was a Luma's attack. So that was a dwell time between the attack happened and the activity found. So site hunting can reduce the dwell time. There are some frameworks for threat hunting. The new one is the Peak framework, which was created by Splunk and David Bianco team. Uh, then we have a Tahiti framework, we have threat hunting loop. This is the threat hunting loop where we create the hypothesis, we collect the logs and create search queries. If we have some results, we analyze the data, and if we have some two positive hits, we detect, we create the detection queries, we respond to the attack, we document all the findings, and then we do the response part, and then the cycle goes on again. Now let's discuss on the Luma Stealer. Uh, so three malwares that we are going to discuss. This is the first one. Lumastealer, it's a malware which was started with the August 22. It was started by a Russian guy called Luma. So it named it as a Lumastealer. Now this provides malware as a service. So this threat actor sells this as a service. It sells service for a few $100. They will give you the platform. They will give you the whole UI and all to be an affiliate and sell and to run a campaign on the Luma. It primarily targets on the sensitive data from saved browser credentials, cookies, session tokens, crypto wallets, and all. This particular Luma Stealer has multiple delivery methods, right from the fake software update that we have seen. It also, the delivery method the campaign we've seen is the phishing emails. ClickFix was the most recent one. So basically, once it is deployed, it exfiltrates the data, it steals the credentials, steals the files, send it to the CNC server, and then sell it to the ransomware guys. Now we have some recent updates on the Luma Stealer. Just few days back, we got the news from Microsoft, and so it was a public and private companies. This was a joint operation where the Luma Stealer was disrupted. Then their network was disrupted basically. More than 2,300 domains were seized by the FBI and Europol, and 1,200 plus domains were sinkhole to the Microsoft. So after this major update, we have seen decline in the Luma Stealer as per the Hiren as well. Like it was in the top of the list on every day and every month. Now it leads to the second or third. So we have seen so many disruption in the Luma Stealer. But now there's another news came that Luma Stealer has the attackers changed from Luma to the Steel C malware and other malwares. So this cat and mouse chase will always go on. When this malware is disrupted, then maybe another malware will come into the picture. This is one of the campaigns seen by Microsoft. So as I said that it runs as a malware as a service. The Lumastealer affiliate will wait for the target to visit the compromised website. Once user visit that site, it uses the ClickFix technique. ClickFix technique that we have seen, that it will copy the command, it asks to copy the command and run into the run tab. It downloads the malicious code, delivers the Luma malware. Lumma Stealer will access the credentials, send it back to the CNC server. This is the whole infection chain of Lumma Stealer. Another campaign seen by the Qualys, which uses the fake captcha verification. Again, uses the ClickFix, then uses MSHTA to download the payload. Payload will be in the JavaScript file, leads to the final Luma payload, and then does the post exploitation, data exfiltration, and ransomware deployment. This is the command used in the ClickFix, PowerShell encoded command, which once decoded, it says uses the MSHTA to download malicious file from the CNC server. Now, main part here comes how we can detect this. To detect the Lumma Stealer, or basically ClickFix technique. So the recent campaign of Luma was through the ClickFix. To detect the ClickFix, we can use the run MRU registry keys. Run MRU is basically most recent use. MRU is most recent use. So whenever we open the run tab and type anything on that run tab, it stores that data into the registry key. That registry key is here under the current version MRU. Here it stores your data of whatever you pasted in the run tab. So what we can do to hunt this is check the registry key logs. Maybe your EDR or XDR can help you here. Check for the registry value data. This one is from the Defender. Check for the registry key, look for the run MRU, and look for the data that was recently pasted, or what recent registry keys we are seeing. If you find PowerShell or any lol bin, living off the run binary, or maybe unusual code, non-admin task, so it leads to your certain thing. Another thing we can detect here is LSR stumping. To get the credentials, dump the credentials through Mimikatz tool. ProcDump Mimikatz is still used. It's a very old tool, but it's still used today as well. ProcDump for dumping the LSR's memory and then extracting the credentials. Suspicious PowerShell commands, like from encoded commands, download string, invoke web request, or contains the URL with HTTP or .j execution of .js files in the PowerShell commands that you can check. And also check for run registry key modification. Basically, the most malwares they do is they keep the malicious code or file under the run registry. So whenever a user logs on, the whatever under the run folder, it will automatically execute. So this was all about the Lumastealer. Let's discuss on another malware. Socgholish. Socgholish is also known as fake update. It's a JavaScript based malware and started initially in the 2017 2018. The main delivery method is to spread fake browser updates or fake software updates to the compromised websites. And once the user downloads the fake update, basically JavaScript file or zip file, then into the JavaScript file, it steals your credentials to the further malicious activities. Now, this Socgholish has also worked as an initial access broker. They sell the credentials, they sell the access to the ransomware guys. Some of the cases that industry has seen from Logbit, Ransomware, Akira. This the Socgholish guys also check the environment, like check the Active Directory membership, check the host in the network. They do scan the network, and based on that, they set up the price and sell the access. But it has seen that it is attributed to the Evil Corp Russian cybercrime group who monitor access from ransomware. This is one of the campaign that seen by the Intel 471 guys, where a user visits a compromised website. It's a Cathro DDS domain. So this is a traffic distribution system. Traffic distribution system is basically when we are visiting any site, it redirects from one domain to another. So this was abused by phishing guys most of the time. So user will be visiting compromised website. It redirect to the other malicious site, which downloads the malicious payload from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Four different stages of JavaScript files were used in that attack. And at the end, it downloaded a zip file. Now, again, that extracting of zip file again has the fifth payload of Socgholish. They once it is downloaded, it connects to the CNC server and does the post exploitation activities. Similar campaign was also seen by the Trend Micro on the recent campaign, where user visits compromised site against the Catharo TDS, it's a traffic distribution system, downloads the fake update in the zip file, and that zip file has a Socgholish DLL or Socgholish payload. Now, how we can detect or how we can hunt this Socgholish malware? There are certain things that we can look for. We can look for Windows script host executions, where parent process could be any of your browser, whatever browser you are using in your organization. Um, so the Chrome browser, then the child process could be WScript execution. Then we have I can use domain enumeration using NLTest. NLTest is used for domain enumeration to look for domain trust, DC list, DC name. You can look for the scheduled task, suspicious scheduled task. You can look on the Socgholish. I can see I'm getting out of time. Just give me a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes max. So, the last one is the bootloader malware. Bootloader is a JavaScript based malware which uses the technique called SEO poisoning. So as in the SEO poisoning, what it does is it ranks the compromised website on the top of your search results. Whenever a user does searches for legal or business related documents like contracts or agreements, samples or templates, it downloads the malicious file on the host. The initial access again that we discussed downloads the fake documents. So once it is downloaded, it creates a suspicious schedule task and registry keys, create accounts, and it is also linked to the many ransomware cases like Reavil and other malwares. It after creating schedule tasks, they download another payload like Cover Strike, System BC, and ransomware as well.